We're out here in the Salinas Valley in California together with Oscar from Fresh Express, one of our favorite companies to deal with. As you can see, we're in a field that's growing lettuce, which is what Fresh Express does best. They're one of the largest vegetable companies in the country. They have a tremendously large presence in the vegetable market. They also have a very large presence in the kosher market, where they produce fresh greens, whether it's romaine, iceberg, and cabbage. We're going to walk through the field, take samples, look at the infestation levels in the lettuce, different kinds of bugs we're going to be looking for: thrips, aphids, mites, spiders, springtails, all different types of insects. If the infestation levels are too high, then Oscar works with his team to try to mitigate that before the harvest takes place. Lettuce and all greens, even though they are inherently kosher because they don't contain any other added ingredients other than what comes out of the ground, there's the problem with them, it would be insects, which means that like any natural item that grows in the ground, they are subject to what they call insect pressure in the industry. So therefore, from a kosher certification standpoint, when we want to certify something as kosher, which means fit and proper in accordance with kosher laws, which are also delineated in the Bible, insects are a no-no. Insects are out, insects are not kosher. Therefore, if we're going to certify lettuce, greens, or any type of produce as being kosher, we have to make sure it's going to be insect-free. The way a romaine lettuce head grows is that it grows pretty much like this from the ground. It's open. The inside leaves sometimes are closed up like that, but the outer leaves are usually where the most infestation is going to be found. They're always taken off during harvest. So they're pulled off completely, which leaves you with more or less a head that looks like this. But something else that Fresh Express does, which is unique, is that they call it top and tail. This is what gets sent to the facility. So they really take off the leaves that have the highest infestation levels, and this is only send the core of the head to get washed and checked. So that also adds to our ability to kosher effectively, because this is usually the cleanest parts of the head. This is what they will call a romaine heart, which they sell in the store as romaine hearts, which is really the core of the lettuce with all the outer leaves removed. Many times it is less infested because you see is this closed up on the top and the insects don't necessarily get in. It's considered a premium product, which is why a lot of companies will sell it as romaine hearts. From a kosher standpoint, a lot of companies, a lot of vendors prefer to get the romaine hearts simply because it usually is somewhat cleaner and easier to deal with. What we're doing in the field here is not a final determination of the kosher status of this lettuce. That's going to take place at the washing facility, where we have a kosher supervisor there who's going to do a final inspection after the product is washed to make sure that it's completely free of any infestation and can have the Starcase symbol on the bag.
My main responsibility is to find and isolate what we call K-lots. What we focus on is making sure that best quality is out there for our facilities that will produce this product for kosher certification.
The idea is that we want to make it as clean as possible in the field. This way, when it gets to the plant and is then washed, and then when we do the checks after that, that's when we want to look to make sure that there's no insect presence at all.
My name is Lucas Daab. I'm the quality manager here in Fresh Express Harrisburg plant. So the truck comes, we check all the paperwork, and we start unloading. Then we put in the cooler. The only difference for kosher is that we run in specific lines that were approved by kosher. When we get the sample from the flume or from the dry deck, we collect the sample, bring to the lab so the rabbi can inspect and see if there's no issues and we can approve for kosher.
And the inspections are basically going to consist of doing extensive checking of samples of the entire lot to make sure that they are 100% insect-free and able to be certified as kosher. I'm going to take this basin of water. We're going to add a significant amount of soap to the water. Then we're going to take the produce and agitate it in the water. And then we're going to try to inspect the water. The water has been made very slippery due to the amount of soap that's been added. The important thing is to agitate the lettuce as you're going in the water and then run it under a stream of water as you're removing it. This cloth in here is a specialized filter cloth. It's about 62 micron in size, which is enough to filter out any insects that could potentially be in the lettuce. We're pouring the water through the cloth. As you can see, we have two strainers here to hold it in place, which just is a helpful procedure to make sure that the cloth doesn't move. And then we're going to inspect the cloth over the light box. So this check is the final check in the process. If this passes, then the lettuce will be considered kosher, and if it doesn't pass, then the lettuce will not be considered kosher. So we're inspecting the cloth for any insects. The idea is that if there are any insects in the lettuce, it would show up in the water, which would then show up on the cloth. If there is, it will invalidate the entire lot from being kosher. If there's no insects here, after checking all these samples, then the entire lot will be deemed kosher and can proceed with production packaged with the star case symbol. All right, so we've just checked a tremendous amount of produce over here, a tremendous sample from the production, and there were no insects found, which is great news. So that means the production can proceed and they can start bagging and placing the star case symbol on the lettuce, because this lettuce now is considered 100% kosher. You can walk into almost any supermarket in the entire country, either a kosher store or even a non-kosher store, pretty much any store that sells Fresh Express products, and you should be able to find products that are certified by the Star K on the shelf.
Fresh Express prides itself in having the highest level of quality. With that in mind, that's why having the highest level of kosher, being able to provide a high level of kosher certification is equally as important to us.
Fresh Express's goal is to produce the best quality of salads for our customers, and it goes hand in hand with kosher certification.
Star K is very proud of the relationship we have with Fresh Express, which now has stretched well over 20 years, and shows their commitment to bringing kosher consumers lettuce and products that are certified with the highest levels of quality and the highest levels of kosher.
I'm very particular about the kosher of my lettuce. I don't just travel to any field and eat lettuce without having to rabbi to make sure it's kosher first. Kosher lettuce, Rabbi?
It is kosher.
Oh,